What is up, chess fans? International Master William Paschall, aka Sladgy. Sparkle Horse is my account here on lichess. We're going to be taking a look at some games from our subscribers. Today is Subscriber Thursday. Game Analysis in Depth. Game Analysis in Depth on Thursdays. What is up, Asterbait? Schieberspieler. Whew, it's good it's Thursday. I don't have to play Schieberspieler. The one day I'm like safe from... That was embarrassing yesterday, dropping a piece against you. I was talking too much. It's like that song from the 80s. Talk too much, you never shut up. I was talking too much, getting distracted, dropping the A4 check like a bunny. Yeah, I looked it up. You're right. I'm supposed to play knight f6. Knight f6, queen takes b7, knight bd7, and black is better. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't remember it in my mind. Anyway, guys, welcome. Asterbait, our most loyal follower. You're in the list. We've got Jim, Ubadis. It looks like Primus. Primus did not spin any games. Princess Chess did. Igara, Bob, Mr. Slowhand, and WJ Loof. 7 games submitted for analysis. Do you need to be lichess patron to be able to be a streamer? No. Absolutely not. No, there is no, no. That is not an issue. There are no extra features for being a patron. It's purely at least it's supposed to be purely a honorary thing. The features are the exact same. I was joking last time, you know. We were joking a little bit about last time, but no, in all seriousness. Another bug. Yeah, I mean, I created my streamer profile a long time ago. But Schieberspieler, you do have to like request to be a streamer. You have to contact them and request it, I guess. When I did it long ago, you know, they'll basically approve everyone, but I think you technically have to ask. Mink Master. WJ Loof, welcome. Wow, 500 bits from WJ Loof. Thank you for being subscribers, guys. Yeah, he's in Denmark, where they're cruel to minks. There's a start here button which leads to a page not found. Yeah, I mean, when I did it like 4 years ago, of course, it was a different scenario. Maybe the automated setup doesn't work. Send a message to the main page. I don't know. I'm sure you can find a wonderful forum for it as well. Everything has changed in recent years. More and more people are streamers, so it's, I guess they try to make it more automated. But I'm sure you'll have no trouble. If worst comes to worst, you have to contact someone by email, and I'm sure they'll help you to set it up. But it's definitely nothing to do with being a patron. Or a Patreon. Patreon is like a website for videos, right? For learning classes and stuff. That's something else. What defense? Oh, I got a sudden pain in my head. It's always good. Be sure to have a modern browser and be extra polite to the lichess moderators. They're very sensitive. Waiting for the brain aneurysm to pass. Alright, think positive. We've got 7 viewers. Arsenal fan, welcome guys. I'm gonna get started with Jim, Egga Shake Dre, Skål to you in Denmark. This is I haven't had in a while. Czech beer, Pilsner Urquell. It's nice to change up a little bit. We get older, we become creatures of habit. Maybe I'll take an aspirin or something. I have a weird pain in my head. Just started. We're like completely locked down at home here. It would be ironic if I got COVID the last possible minute. I don't think so. Alright, Arsenal fan, welcome guys. I'm going to take an aspirin. Good for the... I got some over here. Drugs with beer. Mixing my drugs with beer. Should I take an aspirin or maybe I'll take an acetaminophen? Like Advil. Alright, always take your drugs and alcohol together. So, actually had some water. We used to have water. Coffee. Junk days. You're under quarantine. We've got a serious quarantine here in Hungary now. It's like an 8 o'clock curfew. A lot of schools are closed. DK guy said, your dad used to say a headache is a good sign you don't have your... It's a good sign you're still alive, too. I'm not listed on lichess. Uh-oh. That's a bad sign, too. Is anybody listed on lichess? Oh yeah, I'm not on there. Well, I'm not a Zolpi or anything. Well, that's weird. I've got lichess.org in the title. They must have banned me or something. Probably it's just a bug. We've got lichess in the title. Maybe they banned me permanently. Making too many jokes. C'est la vie. I don't care. Sludgy is streaming since 7 minutes ago. Exactly. I am not listed. Jonathan Spielman doing the chess.com. What is he doing? Broadcasting chess.com blitz matches or something? That makes sense. Gotakamsky and others. So why would mine not be listed? Suspicious. We'll have Schieberspieler investigate while he's finding out why he can't become a streamer. Llama Lord's not there either. It's probably just a temporary bug. I'm not going to stress about it. If it continues, and Bonnie, they may have changed something that only 5 people get listed. I'm 6th on the list. And Bonnie's down on 7, 8. I don't know how they're sorted though, you know. Does it go by number of viewers? It's possible they institute at any time. It's possible they can institute. You know what it is? I think it's that it's possible the fact that there's 3 message announcements on the main page. Nobody cares about that. The yearly classical arena and weekly rapid arena. There's all kinds of messages up there, and I think that takes up the space where the streamer names would be normally. But I don't really know why like Zolpi is second and how it works. Like how many viewers you have or something. Difficult to say. Whatever. I'm not going to worry about it. Let's just get to work. It's possible. I mean, we're going to reach the point where there's like 20,000 people streaming at the same time, and I'm not going to. Thanks for letting us know, Arsenal. I think everybody should leave my stream and go check out Gotakamsky instead. But are they analyzing games from chess.com? Because that would be like really gross if like lichess was promoting chess.com. By the way, Arsenal, I noticed that yesterday. They're promoting like the chess.com tournament or something. Did anybody ever stop to think that they're like a competitor of lichess, not our friends? They're evil. All right. Arsenal, you claim that you submitted a game. Are you banned? Am I blocking you or something? Arsenal, am I blocking your chat? Is there some reason why your messages won't go through? You're not blocked or something. There's no reason why your message to me would not go through. I'm not blocking you. I was never blocking you on lichess. I just unfriended you. Maybe they muted you, like they took away your power to communicate for other things you did from the site. I should definitely get messages from you. I think only people following me can get my messages at the moment. That's weird. But that's not how it works. I get tons of messages from people who I'm not following. He's trying to force me to follow him. It's like a South Park episode where one of the kids' dads like gets upset that he's not on their Facebook friends list. He's like, Dad, it takes like 2 seconds to make someone a Facebook friend. It doesn't really matter. But why am I not one of your Facebook friends, son? You don't love me? Dad! So Arsenal's like trying to force me. Wow, Jim, you're chat banned as well? Alright, Arsenal like guilted me into friending him. You remember that episode? So the bandana man. Ugh. We don't need to talk about that. What else we got? Arsenal fan. Go to the bottom of the list. So Jim is chat banned. Speaking of chat banned, Jim. Can't believe Jim, he's so polite. You're so correct, man. I can't believe you got chat banned. Alright. Let's start with Jim's game. I like how I get like someone you reported was banned. I didn't report anybody in a long time. I reported some guy for like spamming messages to me. I can't believe he would have gotten banned for that though. I haven't reported anyone for cheating in a long time. Some guy was sending me annoying tournament messages. Does anyone have any time to chat in Bullet? Yeah, no, it's like after the game, you send them all kinds of nasty messages. It's not like during the game. Alright, Jim's first. Here it is. Game for Thursday. Alright, guys, we're doing a subscriber stream. Chat is kind of empty because we're not listed on lichess at the moment. But we'll live with it. I'm going to have to find new avenues, apparently, whenever Zolpi is streaming, to get my stream noticed. Obviously, if you work for the St. Louis Chess Club or chess.com, you have a better chance. Alright, what do we got? Jim? Game for Thursday. I should have thought a bit more. That's generally a good idea. I played fast for no reason at all. Alright, Jim, what is this? Time control. And who is the NI killer? This is a simul game? Someone else said a simul game against this guy. NI killer. Who's NI killer? Arsenal's message? It's a Georgian I am. I had a message today from some guy from Azerbaijan who's in a team league. Now, they're like, I will pay you $50 if you play for our team. Schieberspieler, have you gotten anything like that? You sent a message again? There it comes. We're just getting it now, Arsenal. Now that you tricked me into being your friend, I started to get your messages again. Arsenal must have been spamming. Jim, you saw that message? The $50? I don't believe that. There's no way like people are paying $50 to play in an online tournament. It's ridiculous. Alright. Anyway, e4, c6, c4, d5, take. Oh, knight f6. Yeah, I mean, I don't believe that. They just like trick you to play in the team and then they'll be like, oh yeah, sure. I wasn't born yesterday, guy. They've got like a whole bunch of people playing, so a lot of people believe the fake news. It's not easy to trick me into the fake news. So this is cool. Yeah, I mean, white has the chance to play pawn takes pawn here. That could be very dangerous. Knight f6 is a good move. Now hold on a second. There is an independent variation. White can play e5, right? Alright, so that's the refutation. Not a refutation, but... No, I mean, what's wrong with e5? Man, I don't believe this. They're playing d takes c6. But I mean, it seems like after d takes c6, you've got a good mora. That's got to be reasonable for black. I'm surprised by the score you see here. If I can highlight this. You guys see, do you see my mouse? You see my mouse, right? Or not? Yeah, you see my mouse. So, 4 games, white won 3 with d takes c6, but I would think like it's very odd. I would think like e5 would be white's best move here. Repun must be chat banned, because I never get his messages. Repun, there's something wrong with your account. You really need to look into it, because I do not get your messages, and it's not on my end where the problem lies. I think we had similar problems with Schieberspieler. Are you chat banned as well? Shadow banned? Yeah, I'll check again, Repun. I mean, it's possible I overlooked it. Yeah, you're in there. Alright. It's true. I overlooked that. But it's weird. I don't remember seeing that. It says 1 hour ago. I don't know, when did I get this? Yesterday. I don't remember getting that. Mr. Slow, which games do we see today? We're going to take a look at Jim's game first. Yeah, this is interesting. I like e5. But that's messed up. 4, 8, 10 games and not one player played e5. I mean, this is like some kind of Queen's Gambit accepted. Advanced Caro-Kann. It can't be bad for white. It looks perfectly okay for white. White has space. You know, this is an interesting position. I don't want to say, like, white's better, but white's definitely not worse. The space compensates for this sort of backward d5 play. Are you sure that Schieber would like black? No, I don't know. He agrees. d4, bishop f5. Knight b4 as a threat here. Knight f3, knight b4. I'm not sure knight h4 is going to cut it in this position. Anyway, okay, it's all very interesting. It's never been played in a game in this opening Explorer. So he does what? He plays knight c3. This is like a middle ground response. Also possible is his cd e5 now, which would be, I don't know what. Similar to the Florimikinus variation. We're transposing. No, that's different. That's the e pawn on e5. This is something else. So e5 is the main move now. He plays pawn takes, and we transpose to a French exchange with c4. Knight f3. It's like my game with... What am I talking about? It's not a French exchange, it's a Panov. Yeah, okay, but it's reasonable. It's a normal Panov. Your move is knight takes c3. Okay, g6. Interesting. So obviously, knight c6 and e6. You play this here, Schieberspieler? DC is like a shake hands and draw position. I mean, I guess theoretically black could even be better after that. Peter doesn't think so. White's got a couple wins here. Karsten Mueller with the endgame technique. What's up, guys? Yeah, of course most people are going to take with the B pawn. So we're transposing to a Schieberspieler special. Coach Bob, welcome, guys. Serious today, Bob. It's game analysis, no messing around. Welcome everyone to the stream. My good friends and followers, loyal subscribers. Only the closest friends here, since we're not listed on lichess. The almighty Spielman is streaming. So e takes d5, knight takes d5, knight f3. Yeah, don't play knight b4. That's probably not a good move. Anyways, okay, g6. So this should be okay for black. It's an interesting move order. Kamsky 1990. That was like the year after he moved to the United States. Maybe that was the year he moved to the United States. I don't know if it was 89 or 90. I can't remember. Maybe it was earlier. 88 or 89. Yeah. It's so easy to forget now, 30 years later. I guess Gata came in like 88 or 89. Whenever John Spielman was like the best player in the world. Kamsky coming to the United States. Knight b6, correct. It's too late for Schieber-Spielder's knight takes c3. Bishop b5 check. Okay, so this move, you know... I mean, frankly, if it was my game, I don't think I would play queen b3 here. But it is the best move. I don't know. d4. d4 is normal. Queen b3. And the queen looks like it's a target on b3. Why is it so good? I don't understand what this exchange of bishops does. But we have knight e5. I see. That's the point. Knight e5, threatening f7. Forcing black to play e6. And I see. So here, and there's all sorts of tricks. White's playing for all sorts of tricks. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, the queen is just going to be misplaced on b3 at the end of the day. You basically have to have something tricky to justify the queen there. I mean, white could also do some crazy move like knight g5, but... Actually, knight e5. Bishop e6. Bishop e5 check. Knight d7. What's up with this? It's nothing. Nothing for white. So check here, and now there's a new move, a4. I don't think I get age demographics. Yeah, 70, whatever. I'm 39. Yeah, we're both born in the 70s. Me and WJ Loof. That makes us approximately 39. Alright. But, a4 is an interesting move. I mean, this knight can always pop back here to c8, as I used against Sir Grishuk in Blitz once. But man, I mean, without knight e5, yeah, this is nice. What's the problem? It's got a beautiful square on d6. I've been told that I'm 39 for several years. It's some sort of time warp. I must have slipped into a black hole. We're watching too much sci-fi. No one really knows. They have the wrong age for me on. They have the wrong age for me on websites that try to track my age and chess sites and stuff. Some claiming that I was like in my 40s or something. Ridiculous. Bishop c4, materialism. Alright, so what's the time control here? Okay, this is a long simul game, or classical. But white is just screwed. I mean, he's got b7 protected. Oh, you did that? Wow. Wow. Are you going to trap his queen on a8? That never had even occurred to me. Can you do castles in knight d6? Castles, queen b7? Because I thought I automatically play this. I would just automatically play knight d6, of course, and black has a at least equal game. I mean, structurally, look at his pawns. Black is completely compact. You're about to castle, complete your kingside development, and the guy's pawns are all over the place. Looks really good. So you think just sack the pawn? There's no queen trap? Schieberspieler? I was obsessed with playing knight d6 too much. Yeah, I mean, the idea is to this. This is huge comp. It's, yeah, I mean, it's awful. White is so busted here with knight d4. I mean, actually, this type variation might not be that clear. But I'm sure there's good stuff for black. No need to really look at that more. Alright. White can't mess around. Knight d6. Total retreat. Again, I don't like the pawns. Black has a great game. a5 is falling. d4 is falling. So I would just like take on a6 here. And black has to be at least equal. You probably have other moves. Rook b8. Jim decided to take on d4. The only thing that I'm thinking is that that pawn is weak already. It's not going anywhere. Maybe just like rook b8. Or you can take on a6, clearing the b file for play. Is there any danger in letting him take on b7? And the fact that your bishop is unprotected on d4. Is that an issue? I don't really like him taking here and playing like rook takes a7, but that's not on. You are protecting a7. On the other hand, he has moves like bishop h6 that weren't available before. We really want to give him that quick development with bishop h6. Jim said in his notes that he played too fast. Already you've allowed quite a bit of simplification. He had 3 weak pawns and now he only has 1. I mean, that's, I guess, what I'm getting at the end of the day. If we go back just a few moves here. My point about this position is that he has these 3 very, someone said spaghetti-like pawns. WJ Loof. Thanks for the donation earlier, by the way. 500 bits from WJ Loof. And then, you know, here we are like a few moves later and, bloop, you know, they're all gone. So he only has the 1 weakness now on b2, and that's actually pretty solid. Of course, you are likely to be up a pawn. That's better than no pawn at all. I guess I can't complain. It still looks good. Yeah, I mean, you didn't have to do that, right? I guess rook e8. I hope we're not going to be sacrificing in exchange. Yeah, thank you for the beer. I knew that the bishop was going to be a problem hanging on d4, and I knew this was going to be a problem with the quick development. Although the computer says that's a mistake in this position. He could have issues because his b2 pawn is weak. What about bishop f3? By the way, is that not a thing? Another thing I'd like to mention is that the whole thing about 4 pawns against 3 on the king side. If you reach a position where it's like 4 pawns against 3 on the king side, chances are it's not going to be enough. I wouldn't mind if you bought me a Peloton. That sounds kind of cool, but I'm not sure we can... I mean, I don't know. Can we get them here? I'm not sure if it's available in Europe yet. Two's too. It's a little too yuppie. All right. Knight takes d4. Knight takes d4. Bishop takes d4. It's perfect for lockdown though. You guys can all pitch in. Those are so overpriced. But now they have a cheaper model. Bishop h6, rook takes b7, queen d5, bishop g7. What's he going to do? Rook a7 and sneak your pawn? So fancy, Mr. Fancy. See? Look at my weak pawns. Man, how did this happen? You let this guy weasel his way out of this. Yeah, it's a draw, man. So bishop g7, according to the analysis, was the big blunder. But I mean, are you telling me the engine wants to play this? Queen b6. Defending the bishop, hitting f2. Obviously you have to watch out for like knight a4, but that's covered by the bishop, so that's not a problem. If bishop f8, what are we doing? I mean, Jim was probably like not sure about this, for example. There's even bishop c6. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a little confused at this point. What's happening? After bishop c6? Queen takes b2, of course, is possible. I guess castles after queen takes b2. Are we winning material? We're just winning 2 pieces for a rook there? We are down a rook, though. It's confusing. Wow, white's better. How about my bishop c6? Damn, dude. Bishop f2 is even better. This variation I would never find. Bishop f2 here. This is computer. Bishop h4. I would have missed this, but I liked bishop c6, but my head is confused. This at least, this is a better version, and then you take on b2. Yeah, Jim, you had huge advantage. You were just lazy. This is like what I would have done in a blitz game. It's solid, it's lazy, it works. It's a draw against a title player. What now? Bishop c6? Theoretically, you could be worse with an outside pawn. At least he has an outside pawn. I don't really love e5. It weakens your structure. I guess you're going for knight f5 here. Knight f5, knight d4. There you are. And draw. Still, it was a solid game. Yeah, he played like kind of a maniac. Alright, that was a long one. Ubatis is up next. Ubatis, is anybody here? Is Ubatis here? Guys, thanks for joining me. Alright. All for the following game for analysis for Thursday's stream. It might not have played at my best level. It was an interesting ending position. Final. A4 is too much. Yeah. That was my, reminded me of my blitz game with Grishuk. I've showed before. He did, if I can remember correctly, it was a Scandinavian where we played like g6, c5. No, doesn't make sense. Anyway, I'll never remember. It's been a long time ago. Use the same idea. You can use that in the Alekhine too. A4, A5. I never remember stuff like mating with bishop and knight when I'm under pressure. I can't do bishop and knight checkmate on the stream. I started having like stage fright. Twice that happened. I can't remember my games. I can't do bishop and knight checkmate. Guys, we have 20 viewers. It's interesting though. Normally the list on the streamers list sort of like alternates. It's just like fixed there now with those 5. Even though there's a lot more people streaming. Now the list has alternated. It seems like there's a bug or something. I have the link up, but it's still not going. I mean, I'm on lichess, but I'm not being featured in the top 5. There's no guarantee that I'll always be featured on the top 5. There's lots of streamers now. It's gonna get to the point where there's like millions. But anyway, I have to find ways to. We're gonna have to find ways to increase viewership without relying on lichess. Maybe I'll have to start streaming on other sites if lichess isn't gonna feature us. We'll have to start cheating on lichess. I gotta be ranked higher than Zolpi. Zolpi has some sort of inside connection to the St. Louis Chess Club. I think they probably toss a lot of money their way or something. We got Yabatis here. It could be just that the list is like frozen due to some sort of bug. I mean, normally like the list moves around, and it's like the exact same list now for a while. Probably just a bug. Yeah, he has the backing of a billionaire. That usually helps. He's the slave to a billionaire. Chess slave. At least I can't say that. Personal slave to anybody. Alright, this is Yabatis' game. He's playing white here. We've got c4, c5, knight c3, knight c6, e3. Hate. Hate. Acerbate. Acerbate. Arsenal. You're being controversial again, man. Arsenal started a huge conflict last stream. Now again, he's like accusing me of hate now. What's up, man? We can't go a stream without you starting trouble. Alright, was it Bob hating? Bob likes to start conflicts, we know that. Anyway, I'm trying to focus on the game here. So Yabatis is playing white. I don't understand why e3 so early. It's fine though. It's fine. This is a bad move. I think d6 is weak. I mean, why doesn't white just play d4? We're automatically better after d4. In fact, like, what is black playing here? Why doesn't Yabatis... You see, he's playing too much the English. Just d4 right away. How does black deal with that? So knight f3, g3, knight f6. I like g6 better. Knight f6, bishop g2, bishop d7. Okay, this is a bit of an unusual move, but probably not bad. Well, I don't think g3 is risky. I mean, it's a normal configuration. d4 is more compact earlier on. Knight f3 is safer than g3 maybe. Morphy wouldn't have liked g3, Arsenal fan. He wouldn't have approved. Morphy wouldn't have approved of all these pawn moves white has made. You're talking like a classicist. Knight ge2. But now black makes a very strange move. e6. Yeah, Costin. Maybe Nigel Davies also recommending this kind of line. I'm not sure. So black plays a strange move now. I mean, e6 doesn't make much sense, I don't think, to play bishop d7 and play e6. I was recommending queen c8 here to try to do the Kahneman system with h5, h4, and play for, if nothing else, just bishop h3. I think white should play h3. Now, h5 or g6, followed by rook b8, a6, b5. It's a standard Smyslov sort of setup. But basically, because white can get in d4, I think that white is better. It's not really a reliable way to play with black. But he played this. And that's just like, what? I mean, e6 is just feeble. And of course, d4. So now white just has a big space advantage. And I don't know what to recommend here for black. Black's position is detestable, I think. I have no idea, in fact, like what black can do. Nothing better than castles, I guess. He does exchange of pawns, but I mean, black's just worse. Black can't play d5, and structurally white is better. White has more space. White has a better bishop. b3. b3 is kind of conservative, but I think it's correct, because you're going to always have problems with that pawn on c4. Yeah, the space is huge. b3 is good. Also, ideally, I think putting the bishop on b2 is superior, although you might put it on e3 in this type of structure as well. It's kind of like a Tarrasch. e3, h3. Those are the two options for white's bishop. But b3 is good. Black played b6. And now he played d5. Actually, I like this move. On the other hand, like, I don't know if you need to play it right away, because I'm not sure black can prevent it. So let's just say we hold off for one more move with d5. We go bishop e2. If black castles, we can play d5 next. But can black play d5? That would be the only move that could cast down a white's position. And it's possible. Again, looking at the Tarrasch type of thing. Maybe there'd be some justification for this, though. I'm not really seeing it here. I guess takes, check. You could say that black has a good blockade of the extra pawn or whatever. White's bishop isn't great. Plus 1 point. Yeah, plus 1, probably. You're up a pawn. You know, I think that black has good chances to draw if he really fights hard. So maybe Ubatis is right. Like, why give black a chance to do that? Just play d5 right away. I like this move. Seriously. Why give him a chance to get any kind of counterplay? So, takes. Now, how would you guys recapture here? Yabatis plays c takes. And obviously he has a space advantage, but he no longer has to play against the isolated pawn. He no longer has the outpost square on d5, and his bishop is blocked by the bishop on g2. I'm not arguing that white isn't better here, but I think I prefer taking with the knight. Maybe our advantage isn't as big. I think take with the queen, and white is just better. This pawn is a huge weakness, and I don't see any counterplay for black. You would take with the knight and bishop takes d5? But I think that the bishop takes d5 is weaker. Queen takes d5 develops a piece that's undeveloped, the queen on d1. You're developing a piece. And if it's attacked, it can go to a different square where it's still developed, like d2. You gained a move, a free move. Your bishop on g2 is already developed. This knight f4 is happening no matter what, or knight c3. But I think with queen takes, you're clearly gaining development. There's a question of like knight b4, but that just gets hit by queen d2. It's nothing. And if bishop f6, we just go here. And there was another variation, like queen takes, bishop f6. Rook b1. Not to say there are not other moves here. I like this for white as well. Okay, anyway, he took with the pawn. Now black played knight e5. This knight is unhappy. Bishop f6 maybe. White's better after bishop f6. But here, I mean, the pawn is not a problem. It's possible that black can solve their problems. Bishop e2, castles, and now white played f4. This can be very strong. The other problem is, I mean, we might want to play h3. If h3, do we have time though? For example, h3, b5, black starts to get counterplay. Oh, by the way, another plan. The Jesse Cry hedgehog theme. I mean, you know, this knight c6, of course, is a classic idea. Not created by Jesse, but he tried to do it against me in a hedgehog. Someone else mentioned it. He was obsessed with it. But, you know, black's going to have to watch out for knight c6. The question is, can we kick the knight out of f4 and get the knight into c6? He plays f4 right away. Black plays knight g4. There's a fork here. Here maybe you can consider queen d4. So Bob, you like knight d4 first? You like knight e4? But knight e4 trades pieces. And that probably favors black. You've got to be very careful. If he's able to trade a lot of stuff, he's going to be completely out of the woods. In fact, like white's going to be like overextended house of cards pretty soon. This position is an excellent example of how easy it is to overextend yourself. It's important, yeah, knight e3 as well. Maybe Bob meant knight d4. Anyway, here, and I think this is an interesting move. The text move is okay, but you've got to watch out for what happened in the game, this diagonal. I mean, this is a terrible move by black, a6. I mean, clearly we can play queen b6, which is more active. a6 has very little offensive value. This defends the pawn, but it also poses threats. You know what's funny? It's very strange, Coach Odd, that I didn't even think about the mate on g7. I literally didn't even care, because nobody's going to drop mate on g7. But objectively, you're right. That could play a role tactically. This is Ubatis' game. Random game. Ubatis against Remio, Immortal. So a6 is slow, and it looks like white is just completely dominating now. You do have to watch the queen b6 check. Ubatis is spectacular camel. And now Spectacular Camel told me some things about this game. He said he was concerned that after knight g4, black might have a really legitimate piece sacrifice. I'm very skeptical about this. Knight takes, pawn takes. I mean, I'll play this position until the cows come home. Yes, he has some compensation, but it's not enough. Schieberspieler looks like the game. It looks like our Grob game. This is like on the same level as my Grob game I lost to against Schieberspieler the other day. Black has the same amount of compensation. It was like 1.5 pawns or something. My Grob loss. Yes, of course, there's possibility white will screw up and lose, but you can't be afraid of this. You can't let that knight get back in the game with knight f5. It's a mortal sin, in my opinion. Today you saw this trap in a new video of Chess Base India. Really? The Grob trap? It happens in the Caro-Kann. There's some weird line in the Caro-Kann, too. With bishop on g4, queen a4 check. Yeah, I would definitely play g4. Of course, you have to calculate it. But he plays here, and look what happened. Knight f5. I mean, this is already... Black's a little bit better off now. He's going to trade the knight off d4. Off the knight on h6. I mean, imagine, your knight on d4, like the best piece on the board, is getting traded for the worst piece on the board. I mean, what kind of deal is that? You gotta play g4. Possibly there's another way. You know, maybe there's some way you could prevent it with queen d3, but I think this is definite. Let's see what Stockfish says. g4, case closed. The Supreme Court has spoken. g4 is +3 according to Stockfish. You dropped the piece in the Caro. So he doesn't do it. The knight gets out. Escaped prisoner. And now Ubatis plays this. What? So this is why he said it wasn't a perfect game. I wouldn't mind sacrificing a pawn, but I don't really like it. Queen check. And now the best move of the game. King h where? So obviously king h2 and white has a huge spatial advantage. But he plays king h1 just to make it interesting. Takes, and then losing the exchange. So we lost the pawn, we sacrificed the pawn and the exchange. Now rook takes. And now the lesson, kids, is always give material back. Don't be greedy. After pawn takes pawn, black could have played rook takes c6. And eliminate that very dangerous pawn. Why be greedy? I mean, after bishop c6, queen c6, black is 2 pawns up in an endgame. Totally going to sacrifice that back. But he doesn't. He plays this. Ugh. Rook on d8. Nice activity that rook has. Check out his rook. Nice rook. It's on a big fat open line. There. Now Ubatis with knight d5, bishop d5. Now here, it may be too late. I don't think rook takes c6 works anymore. That's funny, bowling rook. Yeah, that was my joke with Mr. Coffee. Rooks enjoy bowling. This lane is closed. Yeah, simple bowling basics. Rooks and bowling balls need open lines. This bowling ball is not going to work on d8. Now it's obviously too late to sack back because of queen g2 with the mate and the bishop on c6. Did you notice that good bowlers are better with rooks? It's not a coincidence. b4, queen g2, and this is unbelievable. Black just totally gone. Obviously, if bishop f8, bishop takes g7, bishop takes g7, rook g1, and now you better sacrifice your queen. I wonder if there's any chance for survival here. Maybe it is. Maybe there is a chance for black to survive. Oh no. Bishop f7 check. Takes, check. The c6 pawn really coming in handy here. And there's a mate. Mating attack along the e-file. Ouch. So those two bishops are worth more than a rook. Could have sacked back on c6, but you didn't want to do it. So now he plays b4. And this ends rather badly after f5. Bowling for beginners. And then mate. Well, it was a little bit of a hiccup there with knight takes g3 check, dropping the exchange. Overall, though, pretty final position. Alright, guys, I've got Primus next, according to my note. Primus or princess chess? I think it's princess chess. Alright, where is it? Where is the princess? Lichess study. Where are you in the queue, Bob? You're in the middle. You're 2 from now. My last move was so silly I cannot submit this game for analysis. You can't not submit this for analysis. Short and I was black. That is acceptable. I can speed you up for an extra donation. Maybe you can have a talk with lichess, get my stream broadcast on the site. Yeah, something's stuck, like it doesn't move. 96,000 players. Whoa, it's going over 100. It must be like so many lockdowns. Seriously, it's going to go over 100,000 players. I never really saw it over 100,000. It's going up to 100,000. I feel like I'm watching Bitcoin or something. Alright. 100,000 players on lichess. We have 20 people viewing our stream. That seems fair. Alright. Princess is up. You're white. You're black. Whatever. When was this game played? 11-9. Recent game. I told Princess to play the Schliemann. What does she do? Oh, this isn't your game. It's chess. She's chess Smurf. Chess Smurf. I get it. You better not be playing the Schliemann. This better be your friend Chess Smurf. You're not allowed to play the... I'm sorry, the Steinitz. Bishop e5. Gotta play open positions. This is too cramped. Admittedly, it's solid, but I don't think the great... That's not what we need from Princess Chess. And definitely not my choice against Arsenal fan. I have a secret weapon for Arsenal fan. I'm not revealing it yet. Alright. So d6, d4, ed4 takes, whatever, here. And now, Shambo, 2130, played bishop f1. I think this was played in Lasker Steinitz, or Lasker Schlechter. One of those matches. Now I forgot. I was doing these games a couple months ago. I can't remember which game it was. It was definitely a Lasker game. Pretty sure. Bishop f1 keeps pieces on the board. Another example of white keeping pieces on the board when he or she has more space. I mean, I think the Steinitz is pretty solid. Knight takes d4, trading pieces. Do you see that? Ivanchuk Portish, 1990. And now, 98. Oh my god. Can we get a 9th rank? Damn, dude. We've got to find the 9th rank. Where is it? Where is the 9th rank? It's like the 19th hole in golf. Get back there on the 9th rank. Mr. Sohan is gifting 10 tier 1 subs. That's awesome, man. So we got 10 gift subs. Let's get it going. Even though we don't have, very many viewers, we'll have lots of subscribers. Thanks to Mr. Slow. Flash of Steel, Dr. Trip Chance, Nico, Don't Cry Wolf, Hoo. What else? Q Tunneler, N1 Knight. We've got Metal Eagle, who's a streamer, and Empty Wave Function Articum. Possible these guys aren't here. A lot of competition. Lockdown everywhere. They can go to people who aren't even here right now. Still awesome. Thanks for joining us. No problem at all. Thanks, everybody. Our subscriber stream is usually quieter. But I like it because we can really focus on the games. Thighs of steel. Buns of steel. So seriously, Chessmurph, what is this move? I've never seen anyone play 98 before in a Steinitz. Definitely bishop c6, knight d7. With the idea of bishop f6, the knight popping out on c5, and then maybe bouncing back to e6. Rook e8 is a totally standard move. Getting to the file, tucking away bishop f8, and finally, I guess you could play h6, which is another one of those creepy, crawly sort of maneuvering plans involving sometimes knight h7. But it looks to me like rook e8 and bishop c6 are clearly the best moves. But I mean, the problem, the knight has nowhere to go from e8. We all can see that. It has no squares. So we liberate the bishop, but the knight is screwed. You're just fixing one piece, making the other one bad. Yeah, knight g7. I mean, knight g7 you could do in a less open position, like the Czech Benoni or closed Lopez. But honestly, this is a pretty open position to be playing g6 and putting your knight on g7 with a lot of weaknesses and open lines. Knight e8, in the Sicilian, you do knight e8 sometimes in the Najdorf to defend e6. But here it's clearly messing with black's coordination. So, alright. Knight e8 is terrible. h3 is, I think, ordinary move. Seems like white should have something more active. The first move that you want to... Mr. Sloan just donated another gift sub to G Souths. And Coach I can't keep up with him. He just gifted independent gift subs to Coach I and to G Souths. Thank you, man. Mr. Slohan is the bomb. I would think just 95, first of all. I mean, this is a classic idea. The only thing good about 98 is that it protects C7. It may be that white just like takes the bishop on E7 and transfers one advantage for another one. If nothing else. That's the minimum we can do. I'm not in love with H3. Yeah, I guess I prefer knight D5. I'll take it. Sold. Sold. And that bishop on C1 would be a very strong piece. Maybe on this diagonal. Sometimes you just have to trade your knight for the active bad bishop. Like that's the case here. So, H3 not great. Bishop F6. Here there's other options. Queen B4 hitting B7. Maybe. Queen C4 hitting C7. And she's going for it. The fianchetto. Your bishop already needs that square. This is very awkward, but I guess under the circumstances, I don't know what else to recommend. I would probably consider playing bishop takes C3. I don't like it. I don't know what to do. I guess here still bishop C6 is an option. Yeah, it's a terrible situation that we put ourselves in with 98. G6, a really bad Benoni. Okay, knight G7, knight D5 now allowing bishop takes B2. So that's a little complicated. White plays rook D1, rook E8. I'm pinning knight D5. Wow. Okay, so now we have to calculate. I mean, if bishop takes B2, is our bishop getting trapped? We have problems with weaknesses. Bishop G7 is not an option. After bishop G7, knight G7? Oh, you prefer bishop G7. Honestly, if I was white, I don't know. I might not even exchange, but I guess so. White's still clearly better, but I agree it may not be. It's not clear which is better. You may be right, Arsenal. It's better to trade pieces. White's advantage is still massive. Rook D1 here. I don't know if we take this pawn on B2 because of the weakness of F6. I mean, it looks like bishop takes B2, C3. White has very serious threats. So this has to be very carefully calculated. Computer likes other moves. I mean, this is natural. Is there some problem with like C6? What about C6? I want to get the knight off of D5. I guess this is an option too. Black resigns after knight f6 double question mark. I'm sorry? Black resigns? Well, I don't know why you resign. King h8, only move. But wait, what does white do? Queen a4, not possible. So you're actually winning here. You resigned in a winning position. After knight takes d4. Bishop g7 check? No. It's funny. He blunders with knight f6 check and black resigns. Oh no, you resigned. I added these moves. Yeah. So knight f6 check. But interestingly, white is doing alright here. I also would have played c3. Computer actually caught it was like number 1 line. And then changes its mind later. But I mean, it can't be. It's given a dubious by the openings or the engine. But I mean, you know, come on. Totally logical idea. So after this, what does white have? Other than queen d4. Something else like queen d2. Queen d2, threatening bishop g5. Threatening queen f4. Mostly bishop g5. Black is in a difficult position. White has full compensation for sacrificed pawn. Alright. Alright. Princess chess, funny endgame. I also like to resign in positions that aren't lost. Got a message here. Don't know what that is. Higuera. Speak Spanish like an American. Higuera. Higuera was a while ago. There it is. Congratulations to Mr. Sloan for donation of 12 gift subs. Can we update that? 12 gift subs. I love you guys. Buried under the streamers page. Let's get this updated. So Mr. Sohan donated 17 gift subs this week. Chess Smurf, 1. We've got donations from WJ Loof, 500 bits, and Mr. Slow with 300. We need to thank Mr. Sloan massively. Alright, Higuera 8-9. Submission for Thursday analysis. Thank you, sir, for all you do. Go Biden. White side, time format 15 plus 10. There was that account, Big Dummy. Was that you, Arsenal? Was that one of your other Smurf accounts? Alright, we need one of those drum roll joke things. Classical chess. Higuera versus Serge. Alright, we've got Higuera playing white. What's Higuera's rating? So he's 1820. He's around 1800 in slow chess. Playing white here against a higher rated player. About 100 points higher. We suspect Bob is Silicon, or some friend of Bob. It must have been another one of Bob's. Bob has followers. It's the Bob entourage. Bob groupies. D4, knight f6, bishop g5. Trumpowski. E6. I played this. This was my first anti-Trumpowski system with black. It's a little bit passive. But it's okay. You can play e6. That was Karpov's line. Okay, now I can't remember, but somebody else played bishop e7 recently in a game I saw in the last 6 to 8 months. Maybe it was the game I played with white against someone like Asterbate. Bishop e7, e5, knight d5, something like that. But this line is almost universal. Like, black always plays h6, bishop f6, queen f6. And now, white has a number of different lines. I don't know what the latest is. It used to be like it used to be knight c3, but then they started to not like that because it allows this pin with bishop b4. So then they started playing queen d2. This is a move. Like, white has all different stuff. But I think it's still pretty solid for black. But black plays this. Asterbate, it was you. It must have been you. So, Mr. Coffee, speaking of Mr. Coffee, I hope he's okay. Knight d2 is possible here. If you want to just maintain the status quo. The idea is knight e4, bishop e7. Because if you play knight c3, it's a trap, right? Knight c3, knight e4. Why wouldn't that work? Okay, what's the final analysis here? Julian Hodgson against David Gluckman, 1992. Bishop e7, knight takes c3. I've seen this. Takes, and Hodgson won. This was in some very old analysis of mine, I guess. So white still has an edge at the end of that. Anyways, it's not important. Okay, e5, knight d5, takes. This is funny. This is not silly. Bishop d2. Not ridiculous. Again, the theme of the knight seems to be keeping pieces on the board when you have more space. Now the knight on d5 is embarrassed. It's a strange kind of weird move because we're not trading our bad bishop for black's good bishop. But bishops are subjective. There's also this threat of queen g4 hitting g7. I kind of like bishop d2. It is similar to the Alekhine, of course. And it's a bad one for black. If he doesn't play d6, he doesn't have any counterplay against the white center. Well, I mean, this is, I guess, why people don't play bishop e7. But Higuera played bishop takes f6. Trading pieces is favorable for black. I don't think he can afford g takes f. That looks very fishy. Structurally, with the bishop on e7. Yeah. Not here. So bishop takes. I would like, honestly, I don't know. I would like gf if your bishop was on f8 better. Maybe you could put it on g7. Black is fine. This looks like overextending. I drew with this guy, Shandor Dayak Shandor, in the team championship a couple years ago. He's like an old FM. It's an old historical Hungarian figure, actually. No, that's Dayak Ferenc. I'm sorry. Dayak Shandor. Whatever. It's still an old FM. Alright, bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6, e5, 2 overextending. So now just like c3, knight f3, well, it's like equal. e5, okay, here. Now what are you going to do? Knight f3. So I think that black should chip away. Arsenal's reference to the... There's 2 ways to play this. Arsenal's reference to the Alekhine. Actually, there's like 3 ways to play this. I guess you can play d6, try to do like b6, bishop b7, or just play d5. Whose games have you missed? I don't know. Princess, we just did yours. I'm doing Higuera now. You missed Jim and Yabatis, aka Spectacular Camel. So he goes for b6. Now I want to control e4. d5 may transpose. With d5 we play it like a French with c5. Black's very solid. It's hard for white to generate a serious kingside attack here without the dark square bishop. It's like one of Kamsky's London systems, but not as good. Yeah, d5 is very solid. This looks possible. And b6. And even c5. But I don't know about d5. Chigayev with the game. The very young Chigayev. Is that a different player? Chigayev or someone else? Chugayev. Sorry. Confused. Not Chigayev. b6, bishop c4. So I think you should go for the e4 square. Bishop d3. Bishop d3, we play queen e2 and try to focus on e4. Bishop c4 doesn't make sense here. This is a bad move. You got nothing on this diagonal. It's like playing the, what is it called? The boulder attack against the Sicilian. This is a bad square. Must put the bishop on d3. Next move. He's thinking about his bishop. I'm trying to suppress myself from sneezing. A lot of dust in my room. I was cleaning out some stuff. A3. It looks like he's trying to give his bishop retreat squares. The best retreat square is d3 for your bishop. It should go back there. This is kind of doubling down on bad policy. I was joking about players not being able to retreat, and it reminded me of Donald Trump. This inability to be able to admit, like, imagine what a horrible chess player you make if you can't admit you made a mistake. It's like game over. Imagine Donald Trump trying to be a chess grandmaster. If you can't admit you made a mistake, you'd have to always like go forward no matter what. You could never like admit you made a mistake and try to correct your position. It's like it's game over strategically. Here, d5. Of course, bluffs don't work in chess. Usually. Now you found the right retreat square. And that means that a3 was a loss of time. The other option here is not silly. You can play pawn takes. This would preserve, a tempo. White gains an extra tempo. I don't know which way black takes here. Maybe toward the center with the pawns. It's playable for white. I gotta get my political reference in every stream. H6. Yeah, this is like paranoia. Clearly there's no sacrifice on h7. Black should strike the center with c5. Now c5, c3. Slowly it's turning into a Magnus Carlsen. Right. It's turning into a Magnus Carlsen London system. Kamsky. If it was a Kamsky London system, you have like bishop on g3, traded by his h-pawn, and then coming down on the h-file. White has far less play here. Maybe something like knight f1, knight e3, knight f1, knight g3. And yes, Arsenal fan, bishop a6 is an idea. Of course. Q funneler. Funneler. I need glasses, sorry. Q tunneler. What's up? So, yeah, much thanks to Mr. Slow. If you guys get subscriptions, you can play in my Simul on Sunday. Play in our weekly events where I play viewers in Blitz and such, so it's definitely a benefit to be a subscriber. Bishop a6 is a good idea, sir. Yes, it is seemingly a pity since white wasted the tempi with the white squared bishop. So the game was h6, queen e2, stopping bishop a6. Now black can play a5, try to force through the exchange that Arsenal suggested, or the classic kind of c5. Obviously, we'll see c3. He plays c5, c3, and now the classic c4. Yeah, I mean, I don't like c4. It's now all or nothing. Stand up count. You're welcome. Thanks for watching. I try to do my best to provide a instructive stream. White's going to have a very strong attack on the king side. You take pressure off of d4. There's no more open line. Now white can essentially go all in on a king side attack. I mean, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe white's attack isn't that strong. But I would think that black might have something better here. I mean, the classic thing to do would be queen c8, actually. Now that we're talking about bishop a6. This is probably the best. Trying to play bishop a6 with queen c8. That's what Schieberspieler would do. Alright, c4. And now, black must go as fast as humanly possible with this queenside break before white's able to crack through the king side first. This knight at f3 is a problem. White needs to play for f4, f5, and his ability to do that is very limited. I guess something like h4, g3, knight h2. It's going to take white quite a few moves to get things moving on the king side. So it's a sharp position. I'm not sure about this knight on c6, if it would be better on d7. I'll mention it again. I think knight f1 may have been a good idea. I also mentioned h4. If black tries to play for f6, his e6 pawn is quite weak. I'm not sure if he can get away with that. So h4. This is a strange move in a way. But I suppose trading pieces is generally a good idea. I don't think this is going to solve all of black's problems necessarily. I also don't know if white should take it. Maybe it is good. I guess it is good to take it. Wow. So it's a blunder because you can take it and play like queen h5. I think he should have played maybe knight d7, b5, a5, knight b6, and try to crash through with b4. Also, he could try rook e8 and maybe using the knight to defend with knight f8. But he never should have closed the queen side. So this is a blunder, bishop g5, because you have takes and then f4. And I was just talking about that, how the knight in f3 is literally blocking white's f4, f5. So if h takes, it looks terrible. Can black possibly survive here? Not really. This is a disaster. No, he's lost after HG. So I guess this is the lesser of the evils, but you missed it. I mean, f4 is just crushing. f4, that's the whole pawn structure plan. Oh, you want to play like for castle's queen side? For white? You mean the London system? This is a terrible move. Blocking your own f-pawn. If you play castle's queen side, you're going to get like mated like Jabava or something. That's standard like Jabava London system. Just randomly castle queen side and get mated. Karyakin did that once against Adams too. Queen d8 H3. Yeah, this takes too much time. Black here. I guess F6 if you have to. Move the F pawn. But he never ever got his queenside play with A5, B4. It's still not too late. White's attack is still fairly slow. G4 isn't really threatening anything. So let's try B5. What's the next move? King G2 or something? A5. We start to do this sort of H4, Rook H1. Bishop D7. I admit, like, White's attack still looks pretty strong. I'm not sure if G5 is right because of H5. It's possible Black can lock the position. This requires a lot of calculation. Still, White is much better. But Black needs some sort of active counterplay. F5. So after F5, do we just take on F5? Creating a protected passed pawn? It's an option. That's what I would do in a blitz game. Black could try to close the game now with F4. Maybe we now activate Arsenal's backup plan. It's like artificially castling queenside or something. Wow. Sacrificing a pawn. Doing things the hard way. White really made this hard. It's a very backwards way of achieving that plan from before. And it looks like Black can sort of hang on here, guarding the F5 square. So it amounted to like a French defense, where Black's defending. You're not going to beat Botvinnik here, or Smyslov. Botvinnik is the big French expert. Materially, Black is up a pawn. White has more space, some attacking chances. Wow, it's looking like a Benko. See, he activated the Arsenal fan. Delayed castles queenside. And now King E1. Setting everything in motion. Oh man. Wow, where did this come from? White just like magically has all of his pieces coordinated completely perfectly. Every single one of White's pieces. Black should have activated the Arsenal fan. Castle's queenside evacuation. And now he's stuck. There's no getting out of this. Bishop F5. So Bishop F5 followed by Knight H6. Bishop F5, Queen F5. Knight H6 doesn't work. This is hanging. So there's like Knight F6. Are you serious? It'll be like Knight F6, severing Black's position in half, and then some sort of intermezzo. Bishop takes F5, and then there's mate on the H file. King F1 is a weird move. I mean, if you're going to move it somewhere, move it to E1, where you're out of checking distance and getting off the F file. He wanted to like make way for his queen, but this is a better way to do it. You're on a dark square. Black doesn't have a dark square bishop. You're out of the way of the queen, and you're not going to get checked by a knight, and you're not on the F file. Totally the right idea, but this is a better square. King F1, and then Black retreated his knight. Now it's a lot more obvious. I was thinking this was a great idea even before Black moved the knight away. Now it's perfectly obvious. Wow. Now some sort of study-like finish. Queen G2. Queen G2. Pawn takes, queen takes G8 check. That's the idea, right? Here, and then the queen sack, and then mate on h6 and h7. So if we play queen g2, we still don't have a direct threat, I guess. That's the only problem. I'm not sure what our threat is. I'm not sure, actually. Maybe there's another move, even like rook g3. I mean, this has got to be good. I mean, is there any plausible way for black to defend? I don't think so. This is apparently okay. You can take on f6. Wow. So knight h5 is the best move according to the computer. What about queen g2? This doesn't work. He can take here. Yeah, the computer is just making mundane moves. Your move is good, though. So if knight f6, rook takes h6 check. Forced mate. Nice finish. Alright. So actually what happened? You played king h2, queen h2, knight f6, and that's the game. Oh, you missed this? Wait, what? You missed? This doesn't work. Oh, snap. It doesn't work. Damn. I thought this worked. Unbelievable. So he should play knight takes knight. Where's the denouement here? This was the game. White played bishop g6. And queen e7 is only move. I get it. I don't get it. So he has to stay on e7 to guard this. But it's still like mate in 7. So it's got to be takes now. This must be the point. This has to be it. Mate in 6. That was subtle. But black blundered. No, it gives queen e7 a question mark. Well, whatever. The computer recommends knight g8. So, yeah. This is the game. And mate in 1. No defense at that point. Well, that was quite a comeback. I mean, black was really doing okay. Until he played bishop g5. White had misplayed the position, actually. As late as like move 21. Black was completely okay. Okay, guys. Onward and upward. We have about an hour left. We have an hour left in the stream. And I've got 4 games to go. Maybe more. Bob. Mr. Bob. Finally, a strong players game. Where? Alright, we got Bob Thursday analysis stream. A little 3-0. Oh, Bob the specialist. You played in the streamer battle? Or it's just a random? It's not from my streamer battle. I didn't know you played 3+0. It's a little fast for Bob, I would think. He's not really a bullet player. Berserking Bob. You're going to play for the Tranquilizers this week. Guys, we need extra support on Saturday. Certain traders are not playing for the team. So don't forget, Sunday at 3 p.m. CET. We've got to avoid relegation into last place. Too many traders here. Alright, this is Bob playing white. 3-0? Really? Bob playing a 3-0 game against an 1800. C4, E6. I'd like to see Bob versus Schieberspieler. Queen's Gambit Battle Royale. Bob, this is too early. Technically, you're not supposed to play the exchange variation that early on d5. You should probably wait at least until the next move. Just letting you know. It's considered slightly inaccurate. It's not that bad or anything, but you don't have as much advantage with the premature exchange on d5. I guess Black's supposed to play c6 here. Slightly more accurate move order where Black can play bishop f5. And if Black gets the bishop to this diagonal, it's like Carol Khan exchange variation. Queen c2. Well, you didn't trash his center, man. He has a center pawn. It's still there. Just a different one. You have opened the bishop, though. You've done a good job to open his bishop on c8. What has happened, Bob, is that you opened his bishop, but you now have a preponderance of pawns in the center. So theoretically, you could play like f3 and e4 and have a superiority in the center. But it's easy to do that? No. He just let you transpose. And it's like, okay, this is a mistake. The knight is poorly placed here. Very common beginner move. Player thinks that the knight is active there, but it actually has nowhere to go. And worst of all, I mean, it can go here, but it's probably not going to do any good if it goes to b4. Worst of all, he's blocking his c-pawn from influencing his center or defending his d5 pawn. Black should play castles or possibly c6. Now Bob reacted by playing bishop b5. Which, you know, it's probably not that bad, but honestly, the knight is misplaced, and it's not doing anything. It's not doing Black any good where it is. I'm not sure we can derive any benefit by pinning it. Let's say you go bishop b5, he just castles. I'm not sure that this really helps you. It trades off a valuable bishop. Your white squares are weak. He can play c5 and undouble his pawns, likely. So bishop b5 is a hollow threat. Don't be hollow. But the question is, what should you play in this position? It's not that simple. I'm a little bit concerned about knight b4. But probably this is good. We come back to b1. And I'm not sure that Black can justify knight b4. Possibly he can try something like c5. I'm not sure if this works tactically. Computer doesn't really buy it, but it's not 100%. I'm not sure what else to recommend here. If you want to be really anal, you can play a3 and stop knight b4, but it seems like, frankly, that might weaken some squares. Knight f3 is possible too, but I'm not sure I want to let Black play bishop g4. Pocket Fritz. And I also like bishop d3 with the idea of knight e2, rather than knight f3 necessarily. I guess finally Black is going to play bishop f5. You could consider h3, but that move looks rather slow. Insulted. He was scolding you. You're very sensitive. He meant only the best. Don't take it that way. Now luckily black blundered, and bishop takes f6, followed by knight takes d5, wins a clear pawn. Of course, Bob is a tactical buzzsaw, and he didn't see that. I would probably be talking too much and forget to calculate two moves as well. Knight f3. I'm a bad influence on you, Bob. Not being sharp enough tactically. Knight f3, castles. Of course, bishop d7 is unnecessary, and that bishop would be better on g4. In fact, maybe it's too late, though. Yeah, he needs the castle. But if you don't do anything here, he will play bishop g4, if he's worth his salt. This is a second chance for you to take on f6 and win the pawn on d5, obviously. But if you castle, I think he goes bishop g4 now, and I'm not really thrilled now. I'm afraid white doesn't really have an advantage of very large variety. I don't think you have that much anymore. What's wrong with h3, bishop h5, for example? Computer wants to do g4, but it creeps me out a little bit. My kingside, the kingside's kind of weakened by that. I'm not sure I would feel 100% comfortable. So, you could prevent it first by playing h3. Obviously, it's better to win a pawn. With bishop takes f6. Bishop takes f6 and knight takes d5. But strategically speaking, I mean, this is a move you should be thinking about, is like restricting him. He would go bishop f5 in that type position. I guess, the second best diagonal. So anyway, here, castles, and then h6. It's like, I'm going to force Bob to win a pawn now. He literally forced him. No, you're going to win my pawn on d5. Damn it. Take it. Take it. Yes. Ha. Thank you. He forced you to win a central pawn. It was a good thing Bob didn't play like bishop h4. You got to admit that's pretty sharp. When forced, Bob can calculate. Because a lazy player would have played bishop h4 here. No, I'm not going to be tricked into winning that central pawn. You're not going to get me with that sneaky proof stuff. To quote John Lithgow, doing Rudy Giuliani. Reverse psychology. Even the submission is lazy. Yeah, this is a pity to have to trade. Okay, his bishop's not going anywhere. Yeah, I mean, now I vote for taking it. Computer doesn't agree. But I mean, come on, man. You're up a clear pawn here. I'm taking the stupid bishop. You're up a clear pawn. I mean, how much do you need? And you have an advantage on the queen side with this kind of minority attack. We really don't have to avoid exchanges now. Plus, it's a bishop. It's funny, the computer supported Bob's decision not to trade pieces there. If I wasn't up a pawn, I might not exchange pieces. This is weird, too. I mean, at this point, like b4, maybe. You keep playing for the queenside minority attack. Now, I mean, it's irresistible. Now it's like, actually, is this hanging? Maybe you're winning a pawn. I guess black can try rook b8. Rook b8 and rook takes b2. But now he's like 2 pawns down in an endgame, and black has an isolated pawn. just game over. Bob, never forget to make back rank Luft like G3 or H3 so you don't get checkmated. Yeah, I realize your A pawn's hanging. Just in general. General advice. Here, okay, and then obviously Queen D8. This is so stupid. I'm gonna play Queen D8. I just developed my Queen to A5. It's protected. He went back to D8 to protect the pawn on D5 that he was already protecting. And undeveloped while in the process. Queen D8, Rook C5. Alright, I can't watch anymore. Glomp. That was delicious. Well, he did it. He created back rank Luft. At least you didn't blunder mate on the back rank. And this is sad. Because like he sees like G3 doesn't work because of Queen F3. And I'm recommending back rank Luft. So poor Bob like loses the exchange now. It wasn't that easy. You have to find a move that like Queen D1 or whatever. Very natural way to lose the exchange here. Should he have played Queen check first? I don't know. This is sneakier because he's starting mate this way. Okay, it's interesting. You have 3 pawns for the exchange. Make it 2. If F2 was protected, I would say it was over. White would be clearly better. But now losing that pawn, man, he didn't see it. Such an important pawn. Okay, it's a 3-0 game. I forgot how fast-paced this was. Yeah, now you're worse. And then start running. Actually, this is a serious problem. E3 hanging. I was thinking queen on E4. But it looks like you're going to lose the pawn anyway. You're going to be lucky to draw. If you get a perpetual check, I'd be happy at this point. And you did. There's nothing more than a draw. You had screwed it up completely, though. So a draw is not a complete disaster. Alright, Bob. Tactics. You have to work on tactics. Your strategic game is decent. Alright, guys. We got like 40 minutes left. Not a huge football fan, but Hungary-Iceland. I can't believe they're playing with the... What are they? Playing in Iceland? They can't be playing here with coronavirus out of control. Surprised they even let the Hungarian football team into Iceland to play. It's in Budapest? Oh my god. I can't believe they're letting them play. We're in like a massive pandemic now. That would never fly in some places. Football is very important to the Hungarian government. I mean, it's not like it's like just Europe, just, you know, Hungary. I understand like how important footsie is to the European lifestyle. All right, Mr. Slow is up next. Mr. Slow. Yeah, Hungary-Iceland should be close, huh? Future World Cup final. The next World Cup final. Actually, Hungary was kind of decent in the not too distant past. We've got Mr. Slow with 12 gift subs today. Unbelievable. Where is Mr. Slow? Yeah, Euro 2016, exactly. I remember I played in Zalakaris that year. Came back, and Brian Smith was here. He came to play, and we were watching it in the Varsligat or something. We'll see you later, Schieberspieler. Thanks for joining us and being a subscriber. Thanks for playing for the Tranquilizers on Sunday. Alright, so this is Mr. Slow playing with white pieces against Kyler. Okay, this is from our tournament on Tuesday. Okay, Mr. Slow is higher rated than his opponent. But actually Kyler is not that bad, 1913. In Rapid, he's quite a bit higher than Blitz. Mr. Slow is average 19 plus, but he can play really well. Mr. Slow can sometimes play master level. I've had some very tough games against him. It depends, though. He's very, very strong if you get him in the lines that he knows well. King's Indian with black is excellent. E4, C5, C3, D5, and now ED5, Queen D5, D4. Once I lost to Sveshnikov, where he played like Knight A3. Boros Danish beat me with that too. I fell in some kind of trap. I lost in like 9 moves against Danish. It was ridiculous. So embarrassing. I fell into some sort of trap that even like other grandmasters had fallen into. Chom lost the same way. It was stupid. I must have been drinking or something. I've always had trouble with the C3 Sicilian though. I just don't like playing against it. D4, Knight C6. I mean, this move, by the way, I also played Bishop F5. I'm like a co-creator of this variation. This is interesting, but Knight C6 is risky. I think this is one of the riskier ways to play for black against C3 Sicilian. The knight is always an issue on C6 because it's getting attacked by like C4 and D5. It's kind of dangerous. I wouldn't recommend playing that setup to more beginning players. Much safer to bring the kingside pieces out first with Knight F6 or even E6. I've also played, I played everything. I played G6, Knight F6, Bishop F5. That's about it, I guess we're running out of moves. Bishop F5, Knight F6, G6, E6. And Knight C6 I've played as well. Here, okay, Knight F3. I would get to this position sometimes transposed because I was playing Knight C6 and white played the C3 Sicilian on move 3. I played Bishop G4. This was recommended by Brian Smith, who I was just talking about, by the way. He did some videos for our site, chesslecture.com, where I work. And Brian had a series where I think he was recommending this line. Black did play that here. Brian had some ideas where black is playing E6 and maybe not putting knight on F6 but on E7 instead. Traditionally, this variation was considered quite dubious for black. But newer ideas have been discovered, I guess. I remember when I was a baby, practically a chess baby, trying to play this in like castle queenside, but that's like maniacal. A lot of beginners like to do that. I remember one wild man. Man, I have like a flashback to 30 years ago. Over 30 years ago, watching some blitz game where black played this line with black. Castle and queenside is crazy. You normally don't do that here. The variation I'm talking about is your main line. Right. That's funny that you showed up now, Antony, because I was thinking I've been talking about this with someone recently. It had to be you. There's nobody else. So now white has bishop e2, bishop e3, d takes c5. This is one kind of insipid variation. I've played more honestly this position. Knight f3, bishop g4. But this is completely different. Totally different, like, tactical possibilities with the other knight out on f6 instead of c6. So there's tricks with knight b5. White doesn't care about this doubling of pawns. I admit that may not be a big deal. I'm also not... I'm not really worried about bishop takes f3 necessarily. But I am worried about the capture on d4. I wonder if Mr. Slow played a similar game against me once. Somebody... I think I had this with black against somebody. And maybe it was Mr. Slow. In fact, I'm almost certain of it. Chess.net? What are you talking about? That's not a modern browser. Alright, so c takes d4. What do we do? Elmira. Elvira. Queen of the Night. Maybe I'm thinking of Mr. Slow because he had that other c3 Sicilian against me recently where I did g6. Bishop c4, queen e4 check. There was another game. So this is a weird move. Knight d2, also supporting bishop c4. cd4, bishop c4, bishop f3. And is this a move here? There was this other variation where black could play like bishop d1, but I don't think this is the position. It's a different position. This doesn't work. Here black has queen e5 check. So knight d2 is an alternative, but bishop e2 looks like main line. Instead we have bishop g4, knight a3, e6, and then shockingly there's no gains from this position. What about this? I recall us talking about the possibility of something like bishop takes a3 in a recent stream. cd4, knight b5. That's the point. Now what? Mr. Fancy. Queen a4 check. Going for this guy. Black has to play knight c6. That's funny. How bad is queen d7? I mean, obviously the endgame is better for white. The king is just exposed on d7. Check. And then I guess we take here. Take on d4. With advantage. f7 is hanging. Even cd4. Hunting the black king is possible. Very dangerous position. So that was a cool move. I mean, white definitely expected queen takes d4, when black would probably not be that bad. So Mr. Slow pulling this trick out of his hat with queen a4. The trick out of his my dyslexic hat. Pulling this hat out of his trick. Queen a4, check. But this is an important piece. Let's grab it here. And I guess here you could even look for like bishop b5. No, it's too late. We have to take. Now you just have like two bishops and a queenside majority. Very pleasant for white, but not winning. The computer didn't like your move, queen a4, it looks like. I liked it. But this apparently, keeping this in reserve. Black would have to play a6. I mean, there's no other move. Wow. So there's all sorts of danger. Queen a4 check. Like a6, queen a4 check. b5 takes. This just looks awful. Take, take, take. King e7. Check, forget about it. Yeah, black is totally dead. Wow, bishop takes d4, so maybe knight e7. Black desperately needs some sort of developing move. It covers this diagonal. I want to play knight e5 and sack my queen. Can we do that? Bishop takes d1. Check. Knight c6. This is a little extreme. I don't think this works. No. I had to look at it though. So is knight e7 best? Sorry. Not knight e5. Yeah. If you play bishop takes d4, knight e7 is best. Clear advantage. That's slightly more accurate. Still, I like queen a4, queen d7. So this is... I expected queen d7. Wow, he really did b5. You're just taking on b5 with check. I don't get it. This is even better? Wow, this is even better. Okay. Because you could just simply take on b5. Obviously, this is winning. This is winning as well. And I was wondering if you had anything better than bishop takes b5 check. So the point is, if knight takes b5, a6, what does white have? I also would have done the same like Mr. Slow here. I don't get it. Okay, here, a6. And like, okay, you can play a4, but it's not that clear. I'm not seeing a clear win. Wow, h3, bishop h5, g4. That's brutal. And then here. Obviously that's hard to see, all that in advance. It's still not 100% clear. So he plays this, check, here, queen d7. This was a lot to calculate. But unfortunately for white, that knight's only square, let's see, on e3 is blocked. So it's slightly awkward. But you're up a pawn. It should be winning for white. King e7. Knight takes d4. Clear pawn up. With the black king on a bad square, black's bishop can't develop. Now the king is in trouble directly. We got knight d5, c4. Alright, so can we finish black off here? What's the deal? Yeah, I'm waiting to find a win. Computer? Do we have a win? What does it say? c4 was best. Okay, this is not obvious. There is no obvious win. We've got the extra 2 pawns on the queen side, though. I mean, this majority, excuse me, but the queen side pawns are going to push up, and queen. The black king isn't safe. White has better development. Okay. Here. And now g5 at some point. Wow, that king is not happy, and rook takes. Game over. Extra piece. I've played every different possible system against the c3 Sicilian, but this system should be playable. Let me check the opening, though, before we go on to the next game. It's obviously over. If we check the opening, knight c6, okay, castle, bishop g4, knight a3. He's got to find a strong move here. There has to be something good for black. Bishop f3 right away? What are you going to do? You got to take with the pawn. I mean, is this really sound? cd4. I mean, maybe Mr. Sloyan has his own system. Knight b5. Castle's queenside now. It's like a really weird Scandinavian, but white doesn't have enough play. Yeah, knight e3 is just bad. So the standard line like bishop e2. But it's playable. This is Antoni's system. C takes d4, c takes d4, e6. Yeah, this is what Brian recommends. Knight c3, queen a5. This is known. d5. I thought black had like rook d8. I guess it's not so clear. Strange this has never been tried. Something to analyze for later, guys. Alright. We got 2 games left. WJ Loof and Arsenal. Bob, what are those numbers? You're arguing about Celsius and Fahrenheit? Could we have intelligent people in the stream? Such intellectual arguments. WJ, thank you for donating to support the stream. Support the beer. I've got more beer. In honor of WJ Loof, I'm going to finish my beer. The end of the beer and the end of the stream. 2 last games. Did I forget someone? Oh, I actually forgot. I'm sorry. Repun. So we got 3 games. WJ, where are you? Previous, I guess. There it is. Get through my hate mail. Still blundering a lot of my games. My losses are still glaring at the moment. And he keeps falling into the Botez gambit. Ouch. Alright, let's bring this game up. I want to see if we're still not listed on the page. Yeah, just those 5 streamers are still the same like they were like 10 years ago. It's kind of surprising that the 5 same streamers are still streaming after 5 hours. Oh, there's a different St. Louis Chess Club now? And Zolpi. So I'm still not listed. St. Louis Chess Club must have like paid or something to get their stream like permanently listed. What's up with that? Sounds suspicious to me. The St. Louis Chess Club is always up on the front now. That's highly suspicious. Alright. WJ Loof. I think it's rigged. WJ Loof is playing white. e4, d5. He takes d5, queen takes d5, knight c3. Queen d8. Yeah, I don't like this for black. It seems stupid. It seems stupid, the queen d8. Okay, I'm going to undevelop my queen. Definitely better to play queen d6 or queen a5. It's still playable, it's just passive for black. And now a6. Alexei Gorbatov played here in Budapest once. One of my first treks over here in the late 90s. Yeah, I mean, a6 is a little early, and I don't think it's normally played with queen d8. You know, you would see it often with queen d6. Queen d6, the knight is often going to attack the queen there. Plus, there's an extended fianchetto idea with a6 and b5. But I'm not sure I understand what a6 has to do with queen d8. It's like black wasted a tempo, and now he's like spending another tempo on a6. Obviously trying to play for b5. I think bishop c4 is interesting. Hoping for b5. It's sort of a trappy hope chess move, of course. But like bishop f7 check, takes, queen f3, and like pick off his rook. Bishop c4 is definitely a standard type of development, though. But I mean, I think you could play other things. g3 is interesting. Crossing his plans with the long diagonal. Also, definitely a solid development with bishop g2. So I would put a6, you know, high in my level, my reasoning about the position. I would change my thinking about the position significantly based on a6 being included. You did play bishop c4. Now he goes here. And like the last game in the c3 Sicilian, I mean, this pawn pushing on that knight on d5 can be a factor. But I sort of doubt d5 right away. You can play it if you want to. I mean, obviously, if knight e5, you would reposition your bishop back to e2 and then play a new game. This actually looks really bad. Black's knight would be apt to getting trapped, but on the other hand, after something like this, black can play e6, cover the b4 square, and then destroy your pawn on d5. So I'm not that certain that the push is guaranteed to be good. So it's tricky what we do now. Knight f3, hoping for bishop g4, I guess. If he plays bishop g4, we have this trap. Bishop takes f7 check. This is definitely bad, man. He can't go to a5 unprovoked. That's understandable if d5, but here, man, I'm looking for bishop takes f7. It's probably too much, but we've got to at least consider it. Guess it's not going to work. I just guess it's not going to work. So close, yet so far away. Queen h5, check, g6, knight takes, knight f6. It's not enough. Let's go further. Queen h4. But black is up a piece. I don't think we can do this. It's pure speculation. Computer is calling it equal. It gives a different line though. Knight e5 check, king e8, d5. It's too speculative. You have to think about it though. This is principle. You must calculate forcing moves. Man, come on. It's playing like... Come on. The epaulette defense? This is crazy. It weakens g6. Now knight e5. Definitely. We're very close to something good here. I mean, this looks dangerous for black. You gotta play knight e5. All sorts of tactics. Like knight g6. Maybe knight g6 coming up. You're threatening knight takes f7 immediately. So black probably has to play this. Like, I wouldn't want to know what's happening here. I don't think that black's king is too safe on d7. But that's also kind of speculative. I'm not sure I would risk it in a real game. But definitely knight e5. You played correctly, though. Solid. Instead of this, I guess d5. But maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe a better. Something better this way comes. Bishop c4 is not bad, but what are you going to do? Like, repeat moves if he plays knight a5? Are you going to go back and forth, like here? Oh, okay, draw, draw, draw. So I think we need something better than bishop c4. Actually, it's not a draw. Because there you have the sack. You're actually, yeah, you're actually hammering him with bishop takes f7 now. Check, king takes. Alright, I'm sorry. This is winning for white. This is definitely over. Alright, this is a good move. Now what? e6, knight f6. Oh no. This didn't happen. This is just an analysis. You played bishop d3. He played b5. Black is not a friend of development. No. No, I mean, I'm channeling all my focus on f7. The weakest point in the initial position. So knight e5. Knight f6 only move. Well, now your b4 idea is even better, actually. It's an improved b4. Can you guys stop talking about Carl Sagan in the stream? You're making me feel inferior. I feel an inferiority complex coming over me. Between Antony, Bob, and an Arsenal fan. I'm so boring that they're debating the meaning of the universe in my stream. It just hurts. But man, okay, b4. This is not the game. This is the game. b4 immediately. It's still a good move, WJ. But I was hoping for something more direct. You do have to be careful. You're leaving a weakness behind. Yeah, this is slow. It's a little slow, you know. And I don't want. Why do you bother with that knight on a5? I mean, it's like, it's not hurting you. What did it ever do to you? We need to think ultra violent. I knew this Polish guy. He was an awesome blitz player. Bogdan Holownia. He would play the most absurd sacrifices. You gotta look at, like, bishop g6. It doesn't work, but at least think about it. Just for a second. You know, would bishop g6 work? No. Queen d3. Bishop here? No. Okay. There's gotta be something here. Not b4. I want to play knight e5 again for the 6th time. Then you have a stronger b4. I mean, he could play this. This isn't that bad. Here. This is slow. I mean, it's okay what you did. Bye-bye, Bishop. We love you. White's still better, but it looks like black's sort of hanging on. This is a very logical move by black now. Computer, there's a note here. It's like a blunder. I wouldn't have noticed. e6, development. The black king is in the center. Not safe. Okay, you're fired. You guys have to stop with the A6, A3, H3, and H3. Okay? It's like some sort of contagious disease. Everybody has to move their rook pawns one square. You know they can move two, right? This is the first move that really bothers me that WJ Liv played in this game. I could stand B4 and A3, but H3 is simply, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to make a random move. And you have a very good position here. This is just sheer laziness. Like, I don't know what to do, I'm just going to make like an okay move. That's just like you don't want to bother really challenging yourself to find a good plan. The black king is in the center of the board. And this move is definitely to be considered. Rook E1 is definitely to be considered. Bishop A3, another nice idea. So you have all sorts of active piece moves. But white played H3. I don't like it. It's slow. It doesn't do anything. It's too cautious. You're not taking advantage of the position. Your advantage in the position is going to evaporate if you don't do something now. It's a temporary advantage. You're not up a lot of material. You're up time. You're up a little bit of space. And you're up king safety. But it's going to disappear. Someone on sound, welcome. We're having a philosophical debate. If you're not interested in the chess stream, you can join us for our Meaning of the Universe conversation. I'm sure you would be interested. But you don't come here for that. Someone on sound comes for the chess. Okay, B takes A6. This is a good move. This is a good move. And black is almost out to safety now. That was a strong piece. I like it. But alright, what do we have? We're up an extra pawn. The black king's still in the center. But we don't have that big of an advantage anymore. I'm attracted to this move, queen b5, because of its forcing nature. I'm also attracted to the d5. I think we can maybe whale him in the center right now before he gets away. It's like, come back here. He's just about to get away. And I'm not sure our isolated a-pawn on the outside is enough to guarantee the win. But if we can freeze him in the center with d5, there you go. J-Lif waited until the absolute last moment before this guy was about to get away. You know, actually, I mean, even if he was castled, you would still have d5 because his bishop is a problem. Things wouldn't be so simple for black anyway. But pretty much you waited to the last minute. Can black survive now? Yeah, I mean, he can make an alternative move, maybe queen d7. He doesn't have to take on d5. But now it's over. You have bishop a3, right? Are you going to get pinned on the a file? Okay, obviously queen d5, pawn d5, bishop a3, rook takes a6, rook takes e7 check, and then king d8. No, you're just winning. You just walk away. So that wins a piece. So I don't think there's anything he can do, right? He's losing a piece now. Someone on sound, good to have you back. You're late. Yeah, it's over. Alternate. No, this piece is undeveloped. Your bishop will never forgive you for leaving it out of the game. It's like the last kid on the playground who didn't get picked for the team. Put me in, coach. No, we're going to let the star play here. I mean, bishop a3 is like, the bishop on c1 is like crying, feels like it's left out. He just doesn't put him in the game. This piece is so happy to finally decide the game. Now he's in. Yeah. Now what? Oh my god. We have a move. It's over. Wait a second here. What? What? You can take here? And this? And there's a problem with coordination. But that's, I don't know if White had that worked out or he was just lucky. I didn't see it at first. Queen c5. So the guy didn't play. Wow. Bishop c5. He didn't play queen c5. You have to play queen c5. Seriously, there's nothing here. After queen takes, bishop takes. I'm not sure White has anything. So you'd have to see this. And Black has a couple of attempts. I mean, obviously rook a7, queen b8 check is a bit of a problem. But there's queen a7. And then you have to see this. The finito. Finito la commedia. Or fine in old films. That wasn't that obvious. I can't believe Black didn't take. Now it's over. Alright. A little sloppy, some passive moments, but overall a good game. Thank you, WJ Loof. And now our last games, Arsenal and Ripun. So Arsenal, I guess Ripun, I don't know, we'll have another colonial battle now. Should I do the UK or India first? See if we can get Arsenal started. I know it's late for game analysis. You are late and you're the last one. It's the same thing, right? Classical chess. Oh, another guy. The guy again. This guy is popular. The Nye Killer. So Nye Killer is White. Arsenal with Black. Arsenal's playing the black side of the Lopez. Interesting. Much scarier with White. Like many of our friends here. Muralis also. Very dangerous with White. Or maybe Arsenal's been watching Vita Levente stream. Levy's really good at the black side of the Lopez. He's a little bit like, well, some other great players who I think could have been better with other openings. But he plays it well. Okay, rook e1, b5, bishop e3, castles, c3, d6, d4. You're supposed to play main line, of course, h3. He plays d4. Now, Arsenal, guess you didn't know this line? Bishop g4. It's a lot of theory. There's actually two variations. Bishop e3 and also d5. You got to study both of those. So, I don't know about bishop e7. I've never seen anybody play that here. White is basically getting away with not playing h3, sort of saving himself time. That has to be slightly favorable to White. This guy is a grandmaster. He just played bishop g5. Wow. He's not a grandmaster. Okay, he's an IM, right? So bishop g5. Yeah, but this is a weird move. Like, bishop g5 is something you might do if your pawn was on d3. But I've never really seen anyone do bishop g5. Like, what is that? The bishop is like, you have the Astorbate's opponents do that in a check Benoni. Like, what is bishop g5? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't do anything. He's just like toying with like letting you exchange off your bad bishop. Very dangerous game. You could play anything. A strong point variation here with knight d7, like for example. Probably fine. Hey, would you like to exchange dark squared bishops? Yeah, you don't have to get knight e4 to work. I mean, I think like even this is fine. You know, this would be interesting. Like, which way would you take? Would you take with the knight or would you take with the queen? Maybe you would take with the knight and cross over. crossover. Like, I don't think he should exchange bishops, honestly. If you play knight d7, he should probably go back. But I mean, this kind of transfer is typical, right? Or bishop f6. Maybe knight b6. I have seen some games like this. I'm not saying knight d7 is the best move. I'm just making some speculative suggestions. Rook e8 looks solid. But I don't know about bishop f8. I mean, while the pin is still there, that seems really weird, man. I am not playing bishop f8 with his bishop on g5. I think your bishop's in a good place. You know, you're negating that pin. You have to consider other options. I mean, obviously, even knight h5. I guess it's not going to work. There may be tactics. Knight, rook e8. Okay, rook e8. What other moves do you have here besides rook e8? Obviously, h6 is... There's nothing wrong with that. You can play h6. I mean, later on you play h6 and g6. But in a sense, it makes, you know, it's like his bishop is misplaced. I want to see what the Stockfish says. Oh, there was a knight takes e4. I didn't think that would work. So apparently it works. Knight d7 is like the third best move. Alright, whatever. Here. Now the question is what to do. I know that you're trying to protect your e5 pawn. But again, I like the strong point plan. I mean, now he has this, this, into here and here. But I still think he has to go back. You have a lot of different options. I mean, you could play... Yeah, I guess now it's too late to do knight a5, though. Bishop f6. With a strong point type plan. It looks okay. He may play a4 at some point. But I mean, now you have threats against the e4 pawn later on too. If he tries to go like knight f1, his e4 pawn is toast. This feels weird, but I mean, there's no immediate danger to your position. I just don't know how you're going to sort out the pin. You're going to have to play h6. He could do something weird like bishop d5, for example. This is probably a reasonable move for white, actually. How are you going to get out of the pin if bishop d5? Knight b8. You're not going to do knight b8 now. This move, he wants to play. He wants you to play knight e7. What about a4? Peter says a4 is best. Played this. Obviously c6 is an idea. Timing is a question. Yeah, I mean his knight sucks. But that's the standard thing in the Lopez. Yeah, I mean, sometimes they can do crazy sacrifices like knight f5 or something. But now you've got him buried on e4. He's got to protect e4. So you're doing pretty well, actually. Do you have d5? It's like a Sicilian where you broke out with d5. Nice. A white is completely backpedaling. And I don't know, we have enough to be better, but we're at least equal. What about his dark square bishop? Like if you played h6 or something? H6? Anybody? Is there some problem with that? Because that seems like a kind of decent move here. Is he going to trade? I don't think so. If he goes to E3, you're on E4. He has to trade or take on D5. He could take on D5, but I don't really love this either. What is he doing here after H6? Bishop F6, Knight F6, Pawn D5. Then which way do we take? Knight takes with the F4 square. The black has to be slightly better. He has very good control of E4. But it's not that big a deal. You have to be slightly better here. So I like H6. Bishop G7 doesn't do it for me. Frankly, I think your bishop is better where it is. Here. It's like a King's Indian. Your bishop on G7 is actually, understandably, you're overprotecting that, but the bishop is good here. You're guarding D6. No knight's ever going to get in there. I like this diagonal. It could even pop out to C5 to attack him on F2. So I think this is kind of a routine move. Yeah, I mean, H6 is one of those debatable moves. I think it's actually strengthening your king side rather than weakening it. A lot of times H3 for white is the same. You played Bishop G7 to move the knight on D7. Okay. Well, I mean, Bishop G7 is not a bad move, obviously. You've ganged up on E4 with everything you've got. Now his bishop is totally hanging out to dry on G5. And this is a huge idea. But my concern, Arsenal, is that your bishop is bad. You know, it may end up being just a kind of bad piece because you got nothing on the C3 pawn. This was a nice maneuver, going for F4. You got to be very careful about those squares, D6 and F6. That's why I was concerned about the bishop on F8, leaving the D6 square open. And now F5, inviting him in. Wow. You've got vicious attack now with knight F4. This had to be carefully calculated. The other thing is, of course, H6 would prevent possible incursion with knight G5. That's always a square. Massive all-in counterattack. And does white have anything? Well, he's gonna grab your rook if you try to take on G2. Can we take on G2? Give him the rook. And then, like, which way do we take? You can also take with a knight, possibly. Attacking the rook on E1. So this is very complicated. I don't know even, like, which way to take. The king is pretty safe on the dark square. Snug as a bug in a rug. Wow. It's like you wiped him out. Nice! King E7. Zero evaluation. Oh my god. You're at 38 minutes. So here you were totally winning. With your favorite move, H6, apparently. Don't like H6. King E7. Here. Man. Alright, so what's happening here? Can't you threaten to mate on G2? Like Bishop F1 or something? Somebody explain to me what's happening after Bishop F1. Wait, that's F3. I can't believe black isn't winning somehow. Like, more directly. I understand rook takes d6, queen f4. So crazy. What a position. So you played this. He has to take. You take back. Now your king is just chilling out in the middle of the board. But you are threatening rook takes d6, and you are threatening mate on g2. And you have bishop f6 in the event of queen g5 check. But this is a problem. You play king f8. I thought you were going to have to play bishop f6. That runs into rook e5, which looks really nasty. So here, could you go to d7? Not the safest square on the board. This looks a little safer. Wow, what a game. Now white has 19 minutes left. It's a lot of time. Like, it's a mind-boggling game. He's got queen g3, so it's hard to get him off of g2. But maybe you could, conceivably, with bishop f6. Damn, do you have like bishop f6 and f4? No, he's going to take your... He just goes queen g3. You could play bishop f6, right? I mean, that's a playable move. Queen h6 check. Oh, he takes your bishop. Oh, no. Yeah, I mean, the engine says you had like one winning move here. I wouldn't even see rook d3. That's really, really tough to find. And you found it? Wow. I don't think I would have found this move, even with like extra time. I don't think I could have found it. Maybe with like unlimited time. I'm not even sure I understand it. You know, I guess it protects the bishop on h3. It certainly would be like the 10th most popular move I would have even thought of. It takes away queen g3 from white, and it protects the bishop on h3. I guess if I calmed down and concentrated, I would have found it. White doesn't have a threat in this position, actually, anymore, other than taking the rook, which you just took away from him. Now how can we decoy the white queen away? I mean, I would have probably like chickened out into like a winning endgame with like queen d8 or something. Maybe that just wins though. Does queen d8 just win? You force a trade of queens. This looks excellent. His knight is almost trapped on h6. You're threatening like penetration on the 7th with rook d2. What's he going to play? Queen c1. He doesn't have a square on the board. This would have been an endgame, but very favorable for black. You played what? Queen c6. And then he has counterplay with rook a1. Sort of. I'm confused. I don't see a way to break through. His pieces are all over you. There's no back rank threats. This is really annoying. The engine says you're winning with f4. I also didn't see this. Of course. So you're threatening rook g3 check. Yeah, HTFP, that's right. That's the kind of move I would have missed with white. And I probably would have found it with black. I would miss that with white, more likely. If I wasn't tired, I might have seen it. My ability to calculate is fried now at 9:30. So b4. This guy is like fearless. Fearless player. I don't really like his game strategically, but I give him credit for being like a fearless style player. And now a beautiful move, queen d5. Beautiful. A decoy. There were other ways. You gotta stay on rook a8. Well, I mean, obviously, you know, you can play rook d7 or whatever. You're completely safe here. In reality. You just blundered mate in 1. He doesn't see mate in 1. Damn. Oh, he did. Okay. Yeah, what is that other variation? What is rook f7? No, this wasn't the game. He played rook f7. Oh, he didn't play the mate. Seriously. He has 19 minutes and he didn't see the mate. I guess he's totally winning. But still. Hopefully I would have seen mate in 1. Rook e7. So mundane. But he saw it next move? That's weird. Was he like toying with you or something? I think he was toying with you, Arsenal. He was messing with you. I think you should take him out for that. Maybe he was just messing with your mind. That's just not nice. Alright, last game, guys. I gotta quickly look at the game by Ripun. I think he was trolling you. How did he suddenly see? I guess he might have not seen it. Now it's like too obvious. I mean, it's right there. In all seriousness, he might have missed the mate in 1. It's definitely possible. But you can't miss it now. I'm just messing with you. I don't know. Alright. We got Ripun's game from earlier. I'm only going to have a few minutes, guys. I got to go. The whole thing was a conspiracy. Arsenal and his opponent had basically worked it out before the simul started. Like, sometimes when people won't resign, you know, I'll purposely, like, mess with them and stuff in totally lost positions. But I wouldn't normally. Or if I just hate someone because they've done something bad before. But in a vacuum, I would never, like, slow roll somebody in a chess game on purpose. I would have to have a really good reason to do that, you know. It's just mean. You don't do that. Alright. And I also don't do it in poker unless I have some reason. Some people have been really horrible in like poker games I've played with slow rolling. It's just gross. But knight takes d4, you gotta have etiquette, you know, when you play serious games. I think he might have missed it. He can't miss queen e7 with the rook sitting there, though, next to the square. Okay, so this is Ripun against Schieberspieler. Schieberspieler playing the Scotch with white. And Ripun doesn't know the theory. You have to play b takes. I miss mate in 1 all the time, too. That one was really blatant in the middle of the board, though. D takes c6, queen d8 check. So, okay. Well, black king is not safe. This reminds me of something I've seen recently. Did I see this already? I saw something very much like this recently. Maybe I talked about this while it was live. Queen takes d8, king takes d8, f3. White has a strong center. Classic advantage. King and pawn game is winning for white. Bishop e6. Now bishop g5. Yeah, I mean, I think this bishop actually belongs on e3. Stopping bishop c5. So probably Schieberspieler was a little fancy with bishop g5. He's not a Scotch expert. Could black play bishop c5 here? This is not a threat because of h6. And if bishop h4, g5. Is it possible he would have let, you know, or he let black steal this diagonal? I think it's possible it's a serious inaccuracy by white to play bishop g5. Now he just goes back, at the very least. But Schieber took, which is debatable. I don't like this dark square. Weaknesses in white's position. G takes F, knight d2, and clearly black can play f5. You're out of the woods, baby, after that. I don't know, Schieberspieler just kind of messing around a little bit. I think after this, black is almost fully okay. Stockfish still gives him a slight edge, but it's not much, you know. You've got to play f5 and undouble your pawns here. It's a huge opportunity for black after knight d2. You may not get another chance to undouble those pawns. This move is understandable, discouraging g4, and possibly playing for bishop h6. So it's not a bad move, but f5 is better. Here, good plan by Schieberspieler, negating black's bishop pair. Bishop d6, also decent. I kind of thought you were going to h6, but d6 is okay. Castles, and now excellent move by black, king e7. White has only a very small advantage. g3 with the plan of f4. Excellent. Maybe you can get in h4. Maybe you can go for it here. I think we should go for it. It may be too late though, I don't know. h4? h4 is best, or up in the top couple of moves. You played it. Repunt is not a typical 1300. You're training with a GM for my openings. I played the opening well because I'm training with a GM for my openings. I see. That was in the spectator room. f4, rook hg8, bishop takes e6, pawn takes. And now it's possible black is doing fine. This is a cool idea, but it looks like well, it actually looks quite interesting. It looks like black can hold though. He's gonna hold. King can go back to d8. The bishop's not trapped, and white's gonna have to play, I thought, e5 at some point, but he doesn't do that. Let's see what Schieber did. But you are dropping b7. I don't know if that's enough to lose the game. He goes for it. So this pawn is weak. This pawn is weak. Complicated rooking game. What about rook takes here? It looks like it's probably a draw. White's structure is a little bit superior. This seems like a bit of a waste of time. We got to essentially the same position though. The rook isn't on a great square here on f5. You don't really want your rook in front of your pawn, ideally. Maybe it doesn't matter. This is a very dangerous pawn. And this is just a bad move, I think. It's a tricky situation. Man, I mean, because Schieberspieler has a protected pass pawn. If we trade rooks, black might be just lost. You can't trade rooks because the protected pass pawn on a4, and you're automatically losing. The king is cut off on the 7th rank, and you have no way to get it off the 7th rank. And white has a protected passer. It's a really nasty situation. This is not fun. I'm not sure this check helps. You kind of checked him up to an active position. I think you're improving white's king. So the question is, white winning or not? Is this a win somehow? I guess c3, b4, slowly coming forward. You can't just do nothing. There comes b4. And that's just over. You committed chess hirikiri. But I mean, Schieberspieler is threatening c4, b5 also with two connectors. So black has to defend like super active. Do you have rook a1? even here, like, even if you could get in c5, he's just going to play c3, and it's over. First of all, black can't allow white to paralyze him like this completely. Not an easy endgame. If you go back, though, if we go back a little bit to this position, I want to see if we can do better. Yeah, I mean, I probably would have gone for the simplification too with rook takes g3. Check, king d8. There may have been other ways to hold it, but I mean, this is an interesting position here. a5. Because if we can get our king off the 7th rank, you know, off the back rank, that would make a huge difference. So in other words, you know, rook a7, let's do rook f3, rook takes a5. Can we defend? Now, because our king will be able to get off the back rank. Rook takes f4, and this is hanging. Yeah, and this is actually a much better version than the game. But Arsenal, yeah, also rook g7. Like a different version. I don't mind getting rid of that dark square bishop, though. It's a really big piece of trash. Rook takes c8. And then here, rook f3. Let's say he did the same thing, f5. E takes f, e takes f. So I guess all Ripun had to do was play a5. Where was the game? Rook b7, here, 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 and now a5. And white's still slightly better. Let's say rook a7, rook f4, rook a5, king c7. But this is a tricky variation. But we're threatening king b6. So let's say like a3, king b6, b4, and maybe c5. But the point is that whatever black chooses, he has to choose a line where you get the king off the 7th rank. Because the disaster at the end with the two connected pass pawns was largely because of this inability to get the king off the back rank. Anyway, I gotta go, guys. It was a long stream. I'll be back tomorrow with Blitz at 11 a.m. CET. Thanks on behalf of myself and the Panda. We're very happy to have all of our subscribers with us. Thanks, guys. It was this was Ripun's game against Schieberspieler. Interesting battle. I'll see you guys later. Thanks all. Be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. CET. Thanks for the help from Mr. Slow and the donations from WJ Loof toward beer. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.